Today I want to chat with you about the importance of creating multiple streams of food. Hi sweet friends, I'm Mary and welcome to Mary's Nest, where I teach traditional cooking skills for making nutrient-dense foods like bone broth, ferment, sourdough, and more. So if you enjoy learning how to be a modern pioneer in the kitchen, consider subscribing to my channel and don't forget to click on the little notification bell below. That'll let you know every time I upload a new video. Now when it comes to stocking our pantries, I like to think of that in terms of how we can create multiple streams of food. Now, just for a quick review, when I use the term pantry, I'm talking about the Four Corners pantry, the 4 different places we generally store foods in our home kitchen. We've got our working pantry, which is where we stock our non-perishable goods that we're accessing on a daily basis. The second corner, that's the first corner. We've got the second corner, which is the refrigerator, the third corner, which is our freezer, and then the fourth corner is our extended or our prepper pantry, where we store our backup non-perishable food that allows us to restock our working pantry when our supplies run low. Now today, what I want to focus on is what I mean when I say multiple streams of food. And the reason that I want to discuss this is because I've seen a lot of comments and different things that we've been talking about on the community page here on YouTube about what are the right things to have in our pantries when we want to begin stocking up. Well, everything that we want in our Four Corners pantries. Now, I think many of us have heard the term multiple streams of income. That's pretty common. But the term multiple streams of food may be new to you. And when I use the term multiple streams of food, what I'm talking about are all the different foods we may want to store in our Four Corners pantry that come from different sources. For example, we don't want to rely just on what we get from our garden. And some of us may live on a homestead where we have animals, but we don't want to just rely on the eggs maybe that we're getting from our chickens, or the milk maybe we're getting from a cow, and so on and so forth. And we also don't want to just rely on those foods that we home can, whether we water bath can or whether we pressure can. And we don't want to rely on just those things we buy at the grocery store. And we don't want to rely on just those things that we buy at the farmer's market. And we don't want to rely on just those things maybe we are able to get at one of those pick-your-own type places that allow you to come and pick different fruits and vegetables. And we don't want to rely on those places where we may just buy things in bulk, like the various services like Azure Standard and so on and so forth. These are all different things where we may get food, but we don't want to rely on just one of those sources. Because at any time, something can happen to one of those sources. And if that's our only stream of food, we could find ourselves in a very difficult situation. For example, there were problems with Azure Standard, sadly, and that may have affected the food that you were purchasing from them. Also, another example are all of the various shortages that we've had at the grocery store due to supply chain problems. And maybe a lot of the food we were relying on at the grocery store is no longer available to us, or at least may not be available to us for a while. And then there are personal stories where people have run into problems with their gardens or with their animals. I was recently watching a video from my very sweet friend Tessie over at Tessie's Homestead, and sadly, all of her chickens were killed one night. She doesn't know how it happened, and so she was left with no chickens. Now, she has bought some baby chicks and will start over again, but that's another example of how a stream of food can be cut off from us. So whatever the case may be, I never want you to feel bad if, for example, you home can a lot. But you also buy things in the can from your grocery store. That's a smart thing to do. Those are two multiple streams of food, your home canned goods as well as store-bought canned goods, because this way you always have a backup. What if you run out of your home canned goods? Or maybe for whatever reason, you've not had a very good harvest, or you haven't been able to find some good buys on fresh produce at the farmer's market or at the pick-your-own places, and maybe you're home canning less, or maybe because of various reasons, you've not been able to can a lot. Having that backup food that you've bought from your grocery store of canned goods is, so to speak, your plan B, your backup food. And that's why it's so important to always be looking at various sources of bringing food into your home and stocking your pantries with these multiple streams of food so that you don't run out of food, so that you have backup foods, and hopefully foods that you have been able to grow on your schedule or can on your schedule or buy from your grocery store on sale with a coupon, whatever the case may be, and you've been able to stock up a little, or maybe you've been able to buy in bulk at certain times and then to store your food properly that you've bought in bulk to help lower the price of your groceries. But whatever the case may be, you've got all of these different streams backing you up so that you never run out and never have to rush out and then buy something possibly at full price. And that's assuming that you can find it, because many things often are in short supply. There are shortages of things, or sometimes there are limits on what you can buy, or sometimes things are simply sold out. So there's a lot of reasons why you want to have these backups. So as you grow things in your garden, as you tend to your animals, as you shop at the grocery store, as you shop at bulk warehouses, whatever the case may be, start to think in terms of multiple streams of food. Make sure that you're not relying on just one stream of food, that you rely on multiple streams of food, and that you always have backups and are always prepared. So never feel bad if you have lots of home canned goods, but you also have store-bought canned goods. Or if you buy some dry goods at your grocery store that you find on sale, even though you also buy dried goods from more of the outlet type places where you're buying in bulk. Whatever the case may be, you're always shopping with the idea that you want to make sure that you have enough food that can back up your supplies in the event one of those streams of food runs low. So if you are always thinking in terms of multiple streams of food, you're always going to be prepared and you're never going to run out of what you need. Now, if you would like more information on how to start a prepper pantry, more information about a Four Corners pantry, how to run a thrifty kitchen, be sure to click on this video over here where I have a playlist that covers all of that and more. And I'll see you over there in my Texas Hill Country kitchen. Love and God bless.